Well, Broncos Country, here it is, Super Bowl week, and the Denver Broncos are not in it. But you know what? Regardless of whether or not you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan or an Eagles fan, the Super Bowl is still an important time. That doesn't matter, however, as we in Broncos Country are still going to talk about our Denver Broncos, even though it is not our week. Guys, I'm so excited. There's been a lot of news, a lot of rumors, a lot of stuff to talk about for Broncos Country this week. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. Let's friggin' go.
So smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Denver pride in every view, nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins, analyzing the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
What is up, Broncos Country, and how you doing, Orange and Blue crew? Welcome to Super Bowl Week Edition 2025 of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. I'm Johnny Baki, the Mile High Viking, and as always, my co-hostess with the mostest, my cousin, my childhood best friend, Jay, the Dream Weaver. Weaver, what's up, cuz, and how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, man, on Super Bowl week. One more week of football in the flesh, I guess, to talk about. I don't know if we'll even touch upon the subject of the Pro Bowl, but I guess technically there was football last weekend, although it didn't really feel like it.
I didn't watch any
yeah,
of it.
Man, there's a lot of sports still to talk about. Just a lot of stuff going on around now.
Yeah. There is. We're getting ready to go 32 weeks without football.
It's a long time.
Of course, you can watch the UFL and things like that, and that'll be fun. But it's not the NFL. It's not the Broncos. I have heard. I did join a group on Facebook trying to bring back the Denver Gold as a UFL team. But we'll see what happens there. But either way, it is Super Bowl week. We're not in it. I'm not ashamed about it. We got a lot further this season than we thought we were going to. And the fact that we were able to have meaningful conversations about the Broncos into the month of January, that was something special.
Yeah, man. And it's also nice the NFL, is king supreme as far as spreading out special events throughout the offseason. So, we're going to go hit free agency next month. Then April, you got draft. Then May, you've got schedule release. And then you pretty much have a dark period of June. But then, hey, OTAs are around.
They got mini camps and stuff.
Yeah.
They got mini camp and stuff in June, and that'll be fine, Yeah. But either way, man, we eat, breathe, and sleep and dream all things Denver Broncos all the time, all year long. Doesn't matter that we're going 32 weeks without football. You guys can still hang out with us all those 32 weeks because we're going to still be here every single week. And it's good. It's good for us. It's a lot of fun for us. We have a lot of fun during the off season. We try to keep things interesting, find new ways of having a little fun talking football while there is no football. And I'm excited about it, Jay. So, guys, Welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. We're here on the Orange and Blue Network, and we're also simulcast on the MHRT network. So please, if you have not already, or this is your first time here, please like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Find the audio version of our podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Hit that little notification bell, get the thumbs up, subscribe here on the Orange and Blue Network. And then, of course, if you haven't already, or you're on the Orange and Blue Network right now, jump on over to MHRT Network as well. Like, subscribe, share, comment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, even on Instagram. Guys, we're trying to grow the family. Help us do that, please. Last little bits of we got to get a couple of housekeeping items out of the way real quickly, and then we will get right down to it. The sponsor of today's show is Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. You can find the link in the bio below, dubby.gg. Dubby's Jitterless Energy Blend is amazing stuff. It comes in a multitude of delicious flavors. And every single cup of Dubby has 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine. That's more than enough to give you the kick in the pants you need to start your day and get you going and keep you going through your whole day. Dubby is amazing stuff. It gives you that kick, but you don't get the jitters or the crash that other energy drinks give you later because Dubby has no sugar. It also has no calories. It has no maltodextrin. It has no fillers. It has no artificial colors. It's as natural as it can be, formulated with amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics that help keep you sharp throughout the day, including their patented nootropic called Neurofactor. And the caffeine that is in Dubby derived directly from the coffee plant. So this stuff is absolutely awesome stuff. Jay and I both swear by it, and I promise you, once you try it, you will too. So go on over to dubby.gg, get yourself the dub, use code NRWOB10. That's NRWOB10 to get yourself 10% off your order at checkout. Guys, I'm telling you, this is how you get yourself a dub. And then Master of Merch, Mr. Weaver, would you please tell the folks out there what they could be looking at in our merch store today?
Well, absolutely there, Johnny. I picked out the comfy, cozy, long sleeve shirts here. And I've got a variety of colors to show you. We got the baseball version over here.
My favorite.
The dugout, if you will. Nice ladies pink version. That looks super swell. And then you got, just your normal gray. On top of the blacks, obviously, that we have below. Some whites up top here, but I've definitely been in a long sleeve / hoodie mode. As we're digging ourselves out of that lull time of winter weather here in the Midwest. So just go on over to the Nothing Rhymes swag shop here and get yourself some swag.
Absolutely. You know what? Those long sleeve tees, you and I are literally on the same wavelength, because when I pulled up the merch store, because I wasn't sure if you had it up yet, I went to the long sleeve tees as well, because it's getting, at least for us here in Tennessee, it's getting warmer right now. It's not quite winter cold, but it's not quite, springtime warm yet. But we were actually we've been in the 60s the last 4 or 5 days.
What? I'm jelly over that.
So, yeah, I know, right? So for us here, man, going to a long sleeve tee is perfect right now. Obviously, with me, I wear t-shirts even in sub-freezing temperatures. So that's just me. But I agree with you 100%. That long sleeve tee would be a great item to add to your closet. Guys, jump on over there. The link also in the bio below to our merch store. It's good stuff, high quality. Both Jay and I have several items out of our own merch store, and we love all of them. So without further ado, let's talk football, baby. So
yes, sir.
Jay, it's Super Bowl week, but I'm going to start us out on a slightly somber note.
Ooh.
I think we would be remiss if we did not pay our Orange and Blue Network condolences to the family of former Broncos linebacker John Heward. It was confirmed by the Broncos yesterday that on January 29th, former Broncos linebacker John Heward passed away at the age of 80. I have not been able to find any details as to the cause of death or anything like that, but I do know that he had a pretty awesome career in Denver. He started he was drafted in the 5th round by the Broncos in 1967, so right after the merger between the AFC and the AFL and the NFL, and he spent 3 seasons with the Broncos, starting 41 of 42 games, totaling 6 interceptions. Back then, they did not track other stats like tackles and sacks, but from what I was able to garner and gather, he was kind of a menace in all facets of the game. He left the Broncos after a season-ending injury in 1970 and came back for 1 game with the New Orleans Saints. After that, he went back and played coached for his alma mater in Maine, coached for several Canadian teams, college and for the Canadian Football League. And then he also coached a minor league football team in Chicago for a while. He retired from coaching in the year 2000. So legendary Broncos linebacker going all the way back to, kind of the roots and beginnings of the Denver Broncos organization in the NFL anyway. Mm-hmm. He's passed away. So our condolences go out to his family, his friends, and to the Broncos organization of which he was a part of for a fair amount of time. So there we go. Any thoughts on that, Jay?
No, always sad to lose, a member of Broncos Country. So, always keep those thoughts and prayers out there in the off season, especially as, things get rough in the off season and, there's slow news. So I, definitely feel for, anyone, former player, coach, executive, anyone that, is obviously not with us anymore. So,
yes.
But Super Bowl week, man, is just kind of a weird, at least this stretch of Super Bowl week of like the post Pro Bowl. I know that you said in the beginning that you didn't even watch the Pro Bowl.
I don't bother anymore.
I saw some highlights of it, but like I'm not going to waste my time watching, grown men in their underwear running around doing potato sack races,
skill contests. Look, the day that they announced that they'd be, it would no longer be a football game, a real football game between the best, all the best. And they were going to go to these skills competitions and a flag football game. I was like, dude, this sucks. This isn't worth watching anymore. I understand it's an honor for these players to be voted by the fans because it's fan vote that leads you to the Pro Bowl. I understand it's an honor to be there for them because they get those votes. But for us true football fans, at least for me, I want to see all the best players from every team playing real football.
I want the old, Sean Taylor taking out a punter.
Exactly.
Those old school runs of what the Pro Bowl used to be.
Absolutely.
It's good experience for our players. Someone like a Nick Bonito just coming onto the scene and being able to go to the Pro Bowl, go through the festivities and, rub shoulders with some of the, game's greats is a great thing. Saw Marvin Mims. He looked like he was having a lot of fun as well. But a couple other things I want to get your thoughts on, Johnny. I don't know if you saw the interview at the Pro Bowl with Peyton Manning. And just another quick side note on that. Marshall Manning
I was about to say that was my next one. It was really freaking cool to see Marshall Manning throwing dimes to Jamar Chase in the end zone.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, who was it? It was Zach Stevens, our buddy over at DNVR, who came out and said 10 years with Bo and then draft Marshall Manning. Like
it would only be so fitting.
I think he's 15 now. I think he's about 15 now.
Yep. Sounds right.
So But yeah, man, like you saw Peyton. Did you see the video of Marshall throwing that ball to Jamar
Yeah.
Chase? Did you see the pride in Peyton's face in the background as he watched?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, dude, the Mannings are a quarterback legend family, just all around, and to see Peyton's son out there doing that, it just gets you excited.
It does. On the negative side of that, so where I was going with that was the interview that Peyton Manning gave. He was asked like something about how Bo Nix's season was, and he had glowing reviews of Bo. Obviously, this isn't the first time he's been asked that, but he did say that he was a little disappointed that Bo wasn't there to participate because he thought that it would be, an experience that would really be able to help him grow as a rookie. And almost kind of looked disappointed, as a parent.
Yeah,
he would look disappointed.
Absolutely, but I at the same time, as disappointing as it is, because I mean it's pretty impressive for a rookie to go to the Pro Bowl, even if it was in an alternate, as an alternate, because you even to get there as an alternate, you have to be voted in, you have to get enough votes to be the alternate, which means that he did, which is impressive and it's great. However, I see Bo's side of it. I really do. In that, he had those transverse fractures of his spine, and he is going to undergo, from what I understand, minor surgery to take care of it. Thank goodness it's only minor. I mean, the last thing we want is our, our rookie now going into his second year quarterback of our franchise quarterback of the future for the Denver Broncos undergoing major back surgery right after his rookie season. But at the same time, I understand where he's coming from. One, he doesn't want to possibly cause the injury to be way worse. Yeah. I wouldn't, because right now it's considered minor. But one wrong move, one bad hit, one, with the spinal, dude, even just stepping and twisting wrong could send it from minor to major. So I understand him not wanting that, and of course also just so that he can get the surgery, get recovered, and start prepping for training camp.
I also have a sentiment to Quinn Miners saying, "I'm nobody's replacement, and I don't need this. I already have my own."
That was great.
Internal accolades that I appreciate. So good for him in that, and maybe Bo felt a little of that as well. Of like, I don't care about this. This is dumb.
Look, Q has known since before he was drafted that he's better than people give him credit for. I mean, he straight up said that, when they interviewed him during his combine, and he was like, they were like, "How does it feel being here from like a Division II school or Division III, I think, right?
Whitewater Community College in Wisconsin or some ridiculous thing.
Wisconsin Whitewater. It was Wisconsin Whitewater." And he's like, "I know what I'm capable of. Everybody else is just gonna have to figure it out." And now here he is, and he had probably the best season of any right guard in the entire NFL, regardless of where the voting went. He was probably the best right guard in the NFL. And for them to be like, "You want to come be an alternate at the Pro Bowl?" And him be like, "No, I'm not an alternate. I am way better than the other guy. So I'm not coming." So that's him saying, "You want to see me in the Pro Bowl? You want to see me doing this stuff? Next year, get me the votes."
Mm-hmm.
So,
no,
love it.
That was basically all I had on Pro Bowl. A couple snippets here and there, small
snippets.
Off, but
sorry, you said the word. I haven't said it in a long time. Remember, I always scream it. We got D-Rock in the house. He's coming after me and you as Nuggets fans, saying Lakers. No, buddy. No. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm good for you guys. You guys landed Luka, which is, that's a huge get for Los Angeles. But man, did it shock me out of my socks when that report came out that Luka Doncic was heading to LA.
Probably the most upsetting, surprised sports trade I think I've experienced in my life. I was so upset to after the fact to figure out that wasn't a hack and that really was real. It's unacceptable for it to happen. It needs to be investigated, and screw the Lakers.
Well, I mean, Well, here's the thing that I'm having trouble wrapping my head around. Right, is that when you have a generational talent, and there's not a lot of them in the NBA right now. There are a handful. Obviously, our own Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum,
Wemby.
Victor Wembanyama. You got these guys, and to me, just like in football, just with your quarterback, just like the Broncos are doing right now. You want that core player, that guy that you then build your team around, and Dallas has spent years building their team around Luka.
Yeah,
only to wave him out the door and take Anthony Davis.
Well,
it makes no. I mean, I understand. I understand the contract situations and stuff like that. But man, like
he wasn't a great cultural person. He I mean, there's a lot of underground stories of Luka not being a good leader. So there's reasons for it, and I get that. And so that's why I say, like, actually I'm all good with him being traded. It's just the aspect of him not being shopped, and the return that they got back for him is just the fishiest stuff in the world. Like,
I mean, it was a 3-team. It was a 3-team trade between the Spurs,
Jazz,
the Lakers, and the Jazz.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's a lot going on there. But again, you're right. There was no shopping. Like, there wasn't. It's not like anybody else in the league heard, oh, Luka is on the trading block. Nobody would have thought it.
The Lakers didn't even have to give up multiple firsts. It doesn't make any sense. It's
just AD and just AD a first and what else? There was something
Max
else.
Christie.
Yeah,
just
Max
a
Christie
player, not any big whoop. But dude, it just goes to show that big markets will get away with anything. And another example of I don't know.
Yeah,
don't have too much more to say on that. It really infuriates me.
I mean,
and
here comes our buddy Kenny Booker, KB82, popping in saying, "I thought Luka was untouchable. I wonder what it would have taken for the Nuggets to make that trade." He guesses Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, and a first-round pick.
No, that wouldn't have got it done either.
No, that wouldn't. I mean, that's 2 starters and a first-round pick. Yeah, but I don't think it's enough. And
no.
I mean, and the fact that they had to enter the only way it got done was as a 3-team trade would mean that there's a lot of maneuvering going on to make that thing happen.
Some salary dumps and whatnots,
but.
Yeah, man, it's impossible to go team by team and think about what package they could offer for Luka, and I know we've seen that a lot throughout social media in the past couple of days. But that's not the point. That is literally missing the point. The point is that there were, probably 30 to 35 better offers than what they accepted that would be out there that they just refused to even pick up the phone on. That's the story, not Luka being traded. It's just the manner in which all this shook out is the story. So hopefully we'll get more details someday about that trade. That'll be a 30 for 30.
Yeah. We got a Don Diaz, a 6'10" Mexican, popping in saying Baki rules.
Dun, dun, dun.
I just hear the family and Billy Madison. O'Doyle rules.
Classic. Got to throw that banana peel out.
Baki rules. We got Bonkers Broncos popping in saying, "What's up, weirdos? How you doing, Bonkers? It's good to see you, buddy." Kenny Booker popping in also, or asking us, "What's up, fellas? Have you guys seen that defensive tackle out of Nebraska? 4-time All-State champ and wrestling, and was 161-0. He looks legit and could be a great replacement for DJ Jones." Thoughts, Jay? You're the one who lives in the Cornhusker State.
I can't remember his first name. It's Robinson, I'm pretty sure, is who he's speaking about. Maybe Ty Robinson. That sounds right.
Something like that.
They had an amazing defensive front. I mean, I was there for the Colorado game. That was the kryptonite, obviously, of the Buffaloes was that defensive line for Nebraska. That has been the strength of their defense for quite some time. And I mean, that does fit some need. I would love to take a look at any defensive lineman, I think, for the position in the first round that we are in. I'm all on board with that philosophy of building trenches and, I think our defensive line showed that we have some more opportunities to kind of get that roster built back up. And I would rather probably do that than, unfortunately, re-sign DJ Jones, because I think that last year wasn't necessarily good enough, and down the stretch it kind of showed that was definitely a glaring weakness of this defense. So we got to do something different.
Yep. I love it. Looking to upgrade whatever positions that we can is important.
Mm-hmm.
We got Micah Donthneer, also known by me as the Don, a good friend of mine from my Army days, talking to Bo Nix, saying back issues are no joking matter. Absolutely. And
it's true.
And Bonkers Broncos agreeing with him, saying totally cool with Bo Nix not going to the Pro Bowl. It would have been a fun experience, but I totally get it. Yep. Absolutely agree with you. Let me see here. We got the Don also agreeing that Billy Madison, classic Adam Sandler movie. Absolutely. Hey, Mr. Penguin. It just
shampoo is better.
Yeah. I am conditioner. Like, oh my God, it's so classic, dude. And now I have to find a good Billy Madison soundbite for our soundboard.
I think Billy Madison is my favorite Adam Sandler movie. I remember vividly the first time I ever watched that, and I literally pissed myself a little bit when
I feel like you and I may have been together and watched it together for the first time.
When he was reading the dog who ran away, or
the dog who came home.
Dude,
the puppy,
that scene, the puppy who lost his way.
That's what it is.
Chrissy Taylor.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so great, dude. Amazing.
It's so classic. KB82 coming back to the Luka trade. He's saying both can be the story. It doesn't have to be one or the other. That's absolutely true.
True.
It just sucks.
It's wrong with me.
It does with me. It does with me as well. And so we still have yet to see any movement going back, talking NBA again for a second. We still have yet to see any movement from the Denver Nuggets as far as trades go. The trade deadline's coming up
Thursday.
Yeah. 2 days.
Very soon here. There's a lot of cryptic things going out. A lot of people randomly sitting. That's something to always watch. Of hey, that's a healthy scratch tonight. Why is that? There's a lot of things in motion right now in the NBA. So
absolutely. I would love, however, I'm always showing our love to, the king of the NBA right now, and that's Nikola Jokic. Love him, hate him. You can't deny it. The guy, 3-time MVP, the current reigning MVP for a reason. Always showing him the love. But I want to give some love to a Denver Nugget who hasn't really been much of a contributor as in recent memory, but has come out the last 2 games and done a pretty bang up job.
Are you giving Zeke some glory?
I am giving Zeke some glory.
God.
I am giving some love, some respect to Zeke Naji. I understand that he's not ever going to be a starter for the Denver Nuggets. Except for as a replacement starter. But he did come out and he did play very well in the last 2 games. He even got defensive player of the game against the Charlotte Hornets 2 games ago. So good for him and well done. That's all I'm going to say.
He locked up Zion, but
yes,
a very interesting tidbit, just another little tangent, but Dallas very well could see Luka as Zion Williamson, a player that has enormous potential, that could be the best player in the world, but just refuses to take the sport serious and refuses to get in shape. And just, isn't going to pan out. And he's going to be injury prone and he's going to be a sinkhole. Very well could be that way. Zion is nothing now. And if Zeke Naji can lock you down, you got some self-reflection to do.
Fair enough. That is fair. I'm not, sitting here saying that, oh my gosh, we should totally just trade away MPJ and keep Zeke Naji and slot Zeke Naji in. No. That is not what I'm saying.
Though, Nuggets Twitter was going nuts. He's the guy. We got to keep him. Thank God for Booth locking him up long term.
No, I was not sitting there. What's wrong
with you people?
I was excited to see him take some steps and have some good production. I'm giving him his praise for that. I'm not going to sit here and say that Zeke Naji is the future of the Denver Nuggets. No, he is not.
Keyboard slayer.
Yeah. I love it. We got Bonkers Broncos popping back in saying, what do we think about Roger Dodger Goodell addressing the referee conspiracy? I haven't actually read any articles on that yet.
Multiple things on this, Johnny. This is a great bridge discussion into media days here at the Super Bowl. Have you seen all of the awesome media questions that have been given to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce? Amazing stuff. The stuff you can't even write as comedy writers. My favorite one is out of all of the contributing helping factors throughout this season, which ref was your favorite? They said that to Patrick Mahomes, and he shuffled over himself and tried to play it off. And the follow-up question was
I don't have a favorite.
So have you sent a Christmas card to any of them?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite? Amazing, man.
It is. I mean, and you're right. It's comedy gold that couldn't be written. It just writes itself. Again, we keep going back to all this conspiracy theories, that I'm finally buying into a little bit of conspiracy theory with these referees, because because at this point it has become so blatant that they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Did you hear the Travis Kelce one?
No, I did not. I heard the Patrick Mahomes one.
So the Travis Kelce one is, hey Travis, do you love Taylor Swift more or unsubstantiated 15-yard roughing the passer penalties in the playoffs?
Wow. That's
and
insanity.
He just gave him a scowl and said, next question. I love it. I love how the entire NFL and world is now against the Chiefs. And no matter what they say, no matter how this Super Bowl shakes out, everyone not in Kansas City is going to put an asterisk on this team. I love it. Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, and what Roger Goodell said when he was asked about it, the way he literally just kind of
he was offended.
He was like,
it was a blasphemy that.
That. I quote Roger Goodell saying it's a ridiculous theory. Okay. All right. Except that it is so blatant at this point that everybody's talking about it. Not just it's one thing if a few little conspiracy theorists out there here and there, which is what it's been for the past few years, are going, but the refing, but the this and that. But now you have everybody going, dude, this is happening. We can all see it. We're not stupid. So, I mean, Goodell is, he's a troll. Nobody likes Roger Goodell. Let's just be honest. Fans and even the the NFL ownership alike, no one likes Roger Goodell. He is, and for good reason. Okay, the truth is that Roger Goodell, the position that he's in as commissioner, is meant to be hated. You're meant to be Satan. You're meant to be the devil. You're meant to be the bad guy, and nobody is. And it doesn't matter if it's him or whoever. When God willing, he finally retires as the NFL commissioner, whoever he hands the reins over to, that person is going to be just as hated as he is now. And so, I get what he's saying, because he can't, in his position, he can't confirm. Oh yeah, we told them to favor the Chiefs a little bit because we know we're going to get better merchandising and better view rates if Taylor Swift is at the Super Bowl. He's not going to confirm it, because that would literally be career suicide for him.
And there was an umpire that just got fired for giving his gambling account information to one of his buddies to bet on baseball. So there are multiple gambling scandals that come out almost every month in different sports. So to say that there isn't some sort of outside, thumb on the scale and completely deny. I just, it's naive and it's
and foolish. It's naive and foolish. And there's no other there's naive is a great word for it. Foolish is a great word for it. There's all kinds of words you could use for it. But I mean, the Don comes in saying, BS, he's definitely getting a cut. And the announcers even see it. When you got Tony Romo and Tom Brady saying it on the air, live, and here's the thing.
And Troy Aikman.
One thing that, and Troy Aikman, I forgot about that.
Yep.
You don't even, one thing a lot of people have to remember and understand is that these guys are not employed by the NFL. The announcers, they are employed by the networks that the games are being broadcast on. So they have no skin in the game when it comes to that. And they're not going to, and they can't be penalized or fired by the NFL for saying it live on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why they're getting away with it. Because I promise you, if the NFL employed Troy Aikman or Tony Romo or Tom Brady,
quick.
and they said that, it'd be like, they'd have some story behind it. They'd be like, Tom Brady steps away, they'd make some thing out of it. But the fact is, just to Don's point here, even the announcers are saying it live during the games, and that is a problem.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you had anything else on Super Bowl, but I definitely, before we get into Bronco related stuff, I did want to just, talk shop about the specific game in itself. What do you think's going to happen in the Super Bowl? What's a score prediction? What's your outlook to the game? Will you even watch?
I'll watch. I mean, I'll never miss the Super Bowl. Now, granted, I don't make a big deal out of it when it's, sometimes when it's not the Broncos in the Super Bowl, I'll make a deal. I'll make a big deal out of it if I'm excited about the teams that are playing. I'll have a party and I'll make food and stuff. When it's this kind of Super Bowl, the third time in a row the Chiefs have been to the Super Bowl, they're playing Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I have zero interest in really the outcome, except for the fact that I really just don't want the Chiefs to win a third in a row. So I might, have a sandwich and sit by myself on the couch and watch it. So I'm not going to make a huge deal out of it, but it's still the Super Bowl. The commercials are fun to watch. The game, it's still the Super Bowl as a game. It's still the last chance to watch any real football for the next 32 weeks.
Yep.
So, I will watch it. I'm hoping that powerful Eagles offense can carve up the Chiefs defense and get it done. Saquon, run all over him, please. I'm kind of shocked that Jalen Hurts is back in the Super Bowl, if I'm being at all honest. But either way, score prediction, I think it'll be close, just like every game has been for the Chiefs all season long. and maybe just out of sheer hope that it's not the Chiefs, I'm going to predict maybe a 24-21 Eagles over Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I would echo that sentiment. I think it's going to be a close game because I think it'll be forced to be a close game. I really think the Eagles could win this game legitly. I think the Eagles are built the way that they how was it phrased on a podcast I was listening? It is more likely for the Eagles to blow out the Chiefs than it is the Chiefs to blow out the Eagles.
That's true.
I think Saquon is going, if they give him the rock and let him have the opportunity to cook them, then I think that will set the tone for the whole game. It has been known that if you just keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, I mean, that's your best shot to beat the Chiefs. And a consistent running game for Saquon will do just that. Although Saquon's been known to just break home runs off, and that doesn't necessarily keep your offense on the field, but good problem.
No, but it does put points on the board.
That is right. So
But unfortunately, I will be obviously rooting for an Eagles victory. But my betting money will be on Kansas City.
Back and singing for a vomit!
So the Chiefs are gonna chief. The Chiefs are gonna win. It's gonna be a three-peat, unfortunately, and we're just gonna need to stomach it.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Yeah. How you couldn't have your money on Kansas City? Like,
I can't. I can't do it because I'm pretty sure if I put money on the Chiefs, our grandfather would return from the grave to haunt me.
Yeah, it's a great Pat Bowlen quote. To never cheer.
You
for
don't
an
ever
AFC,
bet. On a
AFC West person.
AFC West rival, and I believe in that wholeheartedly, cousin.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Not wrong.
Let me see. We got. Let's see. Okay, I want to pull up this one. We can come back to the Super Bowl if we need to. But my dear friend, Michael Yost, another buddy from my Army days, one of my best friends in the world. In fact, I was one of his groomsmen in his wedding. Saying, sorry I'm late. Did y'all see the Cooper Cup news?
So when he wrote that originally, I got right on Twitter. I was like, oh my God, has it already been announced? Like, what's going on?
It has not. However, it has not. However, right before we went live, it did go out that the Rams would be willing to eat some of a significant amount of Cooper Cup's contract to make a trade happen.
Yeah. They should know that nobody's biting at that salary that he's making. Like, they would have to do that, but more than likely not. It's going to be a cut, and
not with the way he's been injured. I'm not saying that if the option didn't present itself to the Broncos to have Cooper Cup on this team, I would be like,
I would jump at that
against it. I would not be wholly against it in any way. However, at the contract he's currently garnering, dude, like the way he's been injured, there's no way I'd buy on that. I'd buy on it unless the trade was very, very good for it. And that's why when it was in our group chat today, there was a lot of conversation about Cooper Cup and being on the trade block. And I was saying I understand that, but I still would take a run at Chris Godwin before I'd make the trade for Cup. And the thing is, like, Godwin is still probably, as far as the wide receiver position goes, my favorite possibility to come to Denver, even though he's coming off of a season-ending injury. Was it halfway through the season? Bad ankle injury that ended the season for him. He was on a tear to have his, he was on par to have his fourth, 1,000-yard receiving season in a row.
Yeah.
And he was having, honestly, statistically, a better season than he had the last three. He's still young enough. He's under 30. He's 29, I think.
Something like that.
So, I mean, he's coming off that injury, but he's going to be a free agency option where we're not having to give anything up to go get him. We're obviously going to have to offer to pay him enough to bring him here. But I think he's still my favorite choice at wide receiver to possibly come to Denver. And a lot of articles that I've been reading are stating that I don't know if it's about that there's interest for him in on his end of it in coming to Denver, but a lot of places, a lot of media circles are tying him or the Broncos as a probable landing spot for him.
Well,
what are you thinking about that?
Well, it's the same thing. I saw Zach Stevens putting out that we are plus 500 most, highest odds to get Cooper Cup. There's a lot of tie right now to veteran wide receivers that are going to be coming our way. And I think it just depends on the fit and the money to it. I have said all offseason that I am in huge favor of a vet wide receiver if it provides something we don't already have. I see Mims and Franklin as the same kind of player. We don't have a sheer handed wide receiver. That's what Reynolds was kind of supposed to be coming in to be a vet, and never obviously panned out that way. But I don't. We have to differentiate what Sutton does and put Sutton back in a lane where he sticks to the things that he's extremely good at. And we need to have a third down possessional wide receiver.
Yes, we do.
That we can get 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, like short route,
over the middle
slant. Yeah. Just the meat and potatoes of what you need to continue drives in the NFL. Cooper Kupp, honestly, would be the perfect fit. He really would be. If he could stay healthy, he would do extremely well in the tiny.
So would Chris Godwin.
It's
but
true.
So would Chris Godwin. Both of those guys would be perfect wide receivers.
Chris Godwin has a little more versatility to him because he's a bigger body that can go outside if you really need him to. But he started last year on the inside as a slot wide receiver.
I was about to say he started the slot. He's done a lot of slot work.
Correct. And that was a huge change for him because before that, he had been playing outside with Evans on the other side, and they brought him back in, and it made a massive difference. So I would be all in favor of either of those two guys being focal points on the inside. But like I said, I don't want any more middle of the road wide receivers that would, like, I saw a prediction that we could maybe go get Keenan Allen.
I was about to ask you.
No, absolutely not. I'm not interested in anything like that. So
no. And I was literally, like, before you said it, like as you were saying it, I was like, have you seen this stuff about Keenan Allen coming from the Bears?
Hell no.
Absolutely no. We have 4 Keenan Allens currently in the wide receiver room. Thank you. Nope, count me out. But again, as far as these veteran names, weighing the value of a trade for Cooper Kupp or signing Chris Godwin in free agency, either way you go, Michael Yost says it here. Any way you cut it, Kupp, Godwin, Wilson, it's a gamble that I think we could afford to take. I agree. It would be worth exploring. Okay. And if the price is right, that's right. I'm going full Bob Barker on this one. If the price is right, come on down. But otherwise, I would be cautious.
One differentiator between the Kupp Godwin circle versus Wilson. Wilson, obviously, you're going to give draft capital up. You're going to have to pay the man. That's a whole different strategy in my eyes to go get Wilson compared to those other guys. And also another big underrated thing, especially for Sean Payton, is that Cooper Kupp and Godwin are amazing run blocking wide receivers.
That is true.
A necessity for this offense. Wilson, not so much.
Something that we definitely need. We need
because that would eliminate Lil Jordan, and whatever we need to do to eliminate a Lil Jordan getting snaps. Like, if you're adding to the wide receiver room, someone needs to dip, and it needs to be him. He's the first out. Yes,
and that's the thing is that Lil Jordan Humphrey we just need to get him out the door. We've run it back with him now for 2 seasons. And, I get he's a Sean Payton guy, and he's been, he was with Sean Payton in New Orleans, and he's got, he knows the system, but does he really know the system? Cause I feel like every time we see him, there's one moment where he's, he pulls off something good, cool. And then the next minute he's just like, well, I'm honestly going to say it this way, shit in the bed.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of that. It's just like my feelings about Javonte Williams in the running back room. Inconsistent. It's great when you have your flashy moments. It's fantastic. I would take a full season of consistent play over, 5 big, highlight reel flashy plays. That's just how I feel.
Very much so. And I'd take the same sentiments into the draft of who we would be drafting.
and the type of wide receivers that we would be looking out in the draft for. That was another one of those things where if we want to go the route of drafting wide receiver in the first round, not necessarily against it, but I don't want a wide receiver from third round down. We've got enough of those guys. We've got enough depth. We don't need any more needle in a haystack gamble kind of wide receivers. We got to have either a proven commodity or, stick with what we got. Run it.
And I mean, obviously Marvin Mims is going nowhere. Okay.
No.
Guys, Pro Bowl talent at the return position. And he is definitely starting to show his prowess in the wide, now that Sean Payton knows how to use him right. We're starting to see some, that position with Marvin Mims at the wide receiver position is starting to pay dividends. So very okay with that. He's definitely got to stay. Troy Franklin, I'm not sure how I feel yet about Troy Franklin. He's coming off rookie contract. So let's see. I'd say give him one more season to see what we got in him. If we can make something out of that pick for him, and then go from there on a decision whether he stays on the Denver Broncos or not. But what do you think about those three, especially Mims, or those two? Sorry, Mims and Franklin.
I think they're one and the same. I like Franklin. I really do. I just think he has a skill set that is going to be a gadget-oriented player. So that's not a game changer. That's not a playmaker. But it's a good person to have on the roster for depth, because him and Mims in combination, I think, are a really good tandem for the same role.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing, is that, as we kick the can down the road and you're having to fill roster spots, I think that, at least as of right now, if you're wanting to bring in another wide receiver or fill another position with a roster spot, and you have to pick between some of your wide receiver core, you're going to keep Mims on this roster and use him as opposed to Franklin, because he is the guy that fills multiple roles on this team.
Yeah.
So we'll just see how that goes. We got Yost coming in saying, I want to see Garrett. Personally, he is young, healthy, and hungry. Absolutely. Again, if the price is right with the New York Jets, and I'm going to make this joke again, come on down. Okay, we lost. Jay's jumping out for just a second, and that's fine. I'm gonna keep it rolling here, but yeah, I like Garrett Wilson. I think we haven't seen enough. Pardon me, needed a sip. We haven't seen enough of Garrett Wilson yet, and what he is really capable of, because it's been such a dumpster fire in terms of coaching and quarterbacks and everything for him his entire career on the Jets. So when you said earlier, Mike, that any way you cut it, it's a gamble. I think Garrett Wilson would be a gamble. Not a bad one necessarily, but it would be a gamble, because we still have not been able to see enough of him yet to really know what he actually is capable of. But it is a gamble that I'd be okay with. And to your point here, Wilson is a good space maker and can break away from defenses. And he is a great slot option for short passes, where, let's be honest, this season we were lacking. Absolutely. He's another one of those. We said it with Godwin. We said it with Kupp. Wilson would fit the same bill in a lot of ways. However, he doesn't have the run blocking ability of those other two. So, at least not that we've seen yet. He has done some blocking for Breece Hall. But we'll just, again, it would be a gamble. Again, not necessarily a bad one, but it would be a gamble. Let me see here. We got Jack Kenna popping in saying, Johnny and Jay, salute. What's up? Our resident Raider fan and the Raiders host of the Wild Wild West podcast over on MHRT Network. So, it's good to see you, Jack, and we appreciate that you're here right now. That makes 2 Raider fans in the house tonight. in Mr. Jack Kennett and Micah Donthnier. Let me see here. Let's see. Michael Yost making this point. Franklin is not a playmaker, and at least not yet. Again, I give him another season. One more.
I was gonna say, like, he's a rookie at the end of the day, and he's only a 4th-round draft pick. I think he has a lot of raw skill, but I think much like Marvin Mims as a rookie, I mean, his route running could absolutely be improved. His hands, obviously, he needs some more confidence in that. There were a lot of deep balls that he was open and had the physical gifts, like the speed to break away and get separation. He just couldn't reel it in, couldn't have the finished product, and that'll come, get a whole offseason, with him taking the game serious. He was the one, I guess, player I remember in camp that we kept being told that coaches were extremely hard on and were really screaming at. Yeah. So might be some immaturity there.
Let me see. This question we get from Jack Kenna. Who was the guy that left the Broncos to come to the Raiders? Just happened today. No clue who he is. I'm sure Richie will bring it tomorrow. So that would be, I'm trying to remember his name. I've got it right here. Mark Thuis is the new
the Broncos forever.
Senior VP. Huh?
I said he's been with the Broncos forever.
He has.
Even before McDaniels.
Yeah, he was he has since, back as far. He's been with the Broncos since 2009. And he was our vice president of football operations and compliance. He will now be the senior vice president of football operations and strategy for the Raiders. That makes him the 8th staff member to leave the Broncos. He's we fired Ben Kotwicka, we fired Greg Minuski. Darren Mogie's gone, Chris Banjo, Declan Doyle, John Morton, and David Shaw. So there's a connection. I can see the reason that he would go to the Raiders. He has a connection to the John Spytek, the general manager of the Raiders, who worked with him in Denver for during the Manning era, 2013 to 2015. And they're going to be working together now as the general manager and vice president of football operations, senior vice president of football operations for the Raiders. I know his name. I know he's been with the team a long time. He's been out here. He's been with the Broncos long enough that he was obviously good enough at his job to survive regime after, the Elway regime, and then the Ellis regime, and then now he's been with the Penner, the Walton Penner regime for the last few years. He's been with the team a long time, so I mean he's obviously good enough at what he does to have stayed with us for the last 12 years, or no, not 12 years. Sorry, 15 years, because he came to the Broncos in 2009. So I mean. You guys probably got yourselves a good one there. Okay, I got one for you, Jay. Have you heard about Talanoa Hufanga? Have you heard the news?
Safety, right?
The safety out of San Francisco, off the San Francisco 49ers. He played strong. He played strong safety. Would definitely, at least in terms of his stat lines of the past few seasons, be an upgrade on PJ Locke.
All for that.
And it's looking like that. A lot of people are saying that he would that him to the Broncos would be a no-brainer in free if the Niners cut him, which they're likely to do due to a lot of contractual issues they have there right now. They're having to pay, Purdy and McCaffrey and Kittle and the wide receiver.
Well, Debo is up now.
Yeah.
But they just played Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk got paid.
Yeah. So they've got a lot of guys they need to pay. And, a lot of these articles that I'm reading, including ones coming out of San Francisco from San Francisco fans and San Francisco publications, some of them are down on him. They said that, he's been inconsistent at times, that he's a little bit slow and he can be a little bit slow in coverage. But I went and watched a lot of film on him today. I sat and watched several, and he was, he jumps routes, man. And once he gets going, he's a boulder rolling downhill. A pick six, he's fast in the pick six. So anything that can upgrade this team, I would be very okay with letting PJ Locke walk. And I like PJ Locke, don't get me wrong. And bringing Hufanga here. So what do you think about that possibility of a future signing there, Jay?
I'm all in for that, because at the end of the day, that was a very big weak part of our defense was the PJ Locke slot. Kind of opposite of the philosophy of roster building I think we need to do on the offensive side. I think the defense, we should be loaded up with some vets and shouldn't be afraid to go spend money free agent wise. And that's signing a free agent on safety and inside linebacker, both vets, as well as drafting at those same positions, really loading up on our weaknesses on defense. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, I like it. And if you haven't already, go watch, go to YouTube and look up, Talanoa Hufanga. It's hard to spell, but look up his some of his highlights and you'll see what I'm talking about. I would definitely be all for letting PJ walk and bringing Hufanga here. If they cut him, we don't know yet, but he's of all the guys likely to be cut, that's probably the most likely cut the Niners are going to make. So there's a very good chance he'll become available. We got some more comments here, Jay. We got let's see. Oh, okay. Going back to the Garrett Wilson talk. Yost says, as soon as Adams went over, he got overlooked by Rodgers. It was complete BS, and I felt bad for him. Yeah, that is one way to look at it. And it makes sense in a way, just because of I think you'll agree, Jay, the connection, the prior connection and chemistry between Adams and Rodgers. But he wants out. He wants out of New York. It doesn't mean he'll get out of New York, but he wants out. He's made that clear.
I mean, Rodgers likes his own people. That's why Alan Lazard is there. That's why Adams is there. And before, Adams got there, Wilson was seen on sidelines getting yelled at by Rodgers. That is not a great relationship, I'm sure. No. And to compound that with the staff turnover that they've had here in the offseason, I'm sure it's not a good environment over there. So I don't blame Garrett Wilson for not wanting to spend his entire NFL career, his glory years, his prime years, with that trash organization. So don't blame him.
Agreed. Jack Kenneth says, dang, lots of change too, in terms of, when I went over our, how many staff members we have lost.
So much.
So far. 8. We are at 8 staff members right now, which, that's quite a few to turn over when you've had, but that is the curse of a winning season, and 2, a winning season that was unexpected. It just happens that way. Yost brings up a good point. Different, when I talked about the risk of Garrett the gamble of Garrett Wilson, since we still don't know exactly what he's capable of. Different coaches, different teammates could make a difference, and they can. Absolutely. I'm not saying that they won't, man. I'm just saying that, it is a calculated risk because we still have not seen him live up to the full potential of, one, where he was drafted, in terms of, draft position. And 2, he's just been, it's just like with some of our wide receivers in regime after regime of coaching regimes and manager regimes and everything changing up there. We still just don't know exactly what he's capable of. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad gamble. I'm saying it is a calculated risk.
Well, and Michael's actually referring to the Niners' safety of different coaches.
Oh, okay.
Teammates could make a difference. And yeah, San Francisco had a very sour season last year. Very rough around there. From what I heard, like Shanahan rubbed a lot of people the wrong way there in a bad year. So, you know, his style can definitely be taxing in a year where you're tanking and you suck. Could be said about Mike, his dad. It's not a good coach to have when you suck.
Absolutely. Let me see. We got another question here from Jack Kenna saying another Q. Myles Garrett asked for a trade. Denver has a lot of salary cap, 80 plus mil. Not sure of your current free agents. Is it possibly wanting a Lambo money for a Honda? Well, first, we don't have 80 mil. As of today, I believe we were, because I was on Spot Track playing around today, doing my contracts thing. 56. 56.
Oh, 56.
56.4 million is what we, right as of today, are currently sitting at, which actually dropped us back a spot from where we were going into this offseason. We were sitting there with the 13th biggest cap space in the NFL. We are now at 14th. But still, 56.4 million is more than enough to go make a lot happen. One thing that we have to do, we do also have to remember is that 12 million of that 56 has to be set aside for your new draft class. So we're sitting somewhere around 44 of spendable cap. And again, you don't always want to spend all of that either. You know what I mean? Like if you could avoid spending every dime that you have in cap, it rolls over to the following year. So it's important to keep that in mind as well, that they may not want to go spend every single penny they have, for the future. But
to answer Jack's question of what's happened to our cap, we took care of a lot of guys internal. We re-signed, whether it's the Cooper deal, the Bowles deal. Who else did we lock back up? I feel like I'm missing one that we re-signed and extended. Thought there was one other big one, but we spent a considerable amount of future monies on internal people.
And there was a lot of contract restructures done this season to free up cap space. A lot of money converted to signing bonuses, which you can then pay in cash, which benefits the Broncos when you have the richest owners in the NFL. And again, I thank any Raiders fan or Chiefs fan that shops at Walmart. I do make a point if I'm walking down the aisles of Walmart and I see a Chiefs or Raiders fan walking towards me wearing a hat or a shirt, to tell them thank you for supporting the Denver Broncos. But
I have not seen very many Bronco fans really make it plausible to go get Myles Garrett.
There's that. On top of it, the Browns have adamantly stated we are not picking up the phone.
Yeah,
for Myles Garrett.
I mean that would be a stellar combo between him and Benito. I would give up our first. I would give up Cooper. I would give up, whatever they would want, honestly, because I think he would be stellar. But I don't see it happening. You're right.
And again, the Browns have said we are not trading him.
Yeah,
they're saying it is out of they literally acknowledged in their statement, we understand he's asked for it. It's not happening.
Ain't happening.
So it's one of those that I would honestly put that possibility out of my mind.
Yeah.
There's different guys every year. It happens all over the NFL saying, I want to be traded. Guys like Garrett Wilson. Now that's a plausible one because they don't really care. You know, I mean, let's be honest. They have shown that they just don't give, with the bringing in Alan Lazard, Devontae Adams. They're like, Garrett Wilson, afterthought. We'd be willing to talk about trades, and then of course now there's the connection with Darren Mogi.
I was going to say, yeah,
coming from Denver as the assistant general manager. He's now the general manager of the New York Jets, so he has a connection to our front office. Which could make getting a deal done there easier.
Could.
A lot in the way of how, like, John Lynch being the general manager of the Niners has gotten a lot of deals done for us in the past because of his connection to the Broncos.
It's all about relationships. I mean,
it's all who you know.
If we've learned anything about the Luka trade, it's all about relationships.
Who do you know?
Yep.
Okay. So one thing we haven't even touched on. Actually, let me check out here real quick in the. I'm checking out here in the chat to see if there's anything else that we have we can hit on before we move on to our next topic. Oh yeah, and of course, another good point Michael Yost makes that we didn't hit on, towards Jack Kenna's question about our salary cap, is the hit of the Russell Wilson, the Russell Wilson trade. Or the Russell Wilson, contract. It's much smaller this season, than it was. The hit is much smaller this season than it was last season by almost $14 million. So that helps us out also in a big way, making more salary room. Bonkers Broncos saying John Lynch shouldn't be in the Broncos Ring of Fame.
I agree.
Why is that?
Much like Ray Bork should not be in the Ring of Fame for have his banner hung up in Pepsi Center or Ball Arena, because he's not a Bronco. He is a Tampa Bay Buck. He didn't win anything while he was a Denver Bronco. It's not like he came away with a Super Bowl ring like Peyton did. Lynch was. I mean, it'd be the same thing as putting Brian Dawkins in there. Brian Dawkins did just as much here than John Lynch did. I never understood why John Lynch was in the Ring of Fame. That didn't make any sense to me, other than the connection that he has always had to the Shanahan family.
Well, there's that, but of course you got to consider he's a Hall of Famer.
He is, yeah, sure.
And so, I mean, you could almost make the same argument though, Jay. Granted, he was here a lot longer, but Champ Bailey. Now I get it. He was here a lot longer, but I'm saying
Super Bowl here.
He did go to a Super Bowl here, yes, but
he was here a long time.
He was here a long time.
His career was.
It was, but regardless, the reason that John Lynch is in the Ring of Fame is because he's a Hall of Famer, because he did play for the Broncos and he did play well for the Broncos while he was here. He played very good for the Broncos while he was here. The fact that he is a Hall of Fame player got him in the Ring of Fame. Now that being said, the connection he has to the Broncos has paid off for us, for this organization, with the connection between the front offices of the Broncos and the Niners.
Bonkers, I think he hit a nerve, because I feel like I could literally do a whole podcast just on that subject of like who should be or shouldn't be recognized as franchise all-timers. That is ridiculous, in my opinion.
We have a long off season, Jay. We got to find some fillers, so that might be a great episode for us. Who deserves to be in the Broncos Ring of Fame? Who doesn't deserve to be in the Broncos Ring of Fame? Which Broncos deserve to be in the Hall of Fame that aren't, and which ones made it that didn't? Maybe.
Yeah.
I honestly can't think of a single one that's in the Hall of Fame that didn't deserve to be there. But yeah, that might be a really good episode. We can do that. We can definitely do that. Yeah, Jack Kenna is asking, Champ was drafted by Denver or Washington? He was drafted by Washington. The Redskins. That's right. I said it. Cancel me.
I'm offended.
Oh, no.
Damn it, Johnny!
They're taking the end racism out of the back of the end zone for the Super Bowl, so we've ended racism.
Oh, yay, we did it!
Woo, we did it!
We did it!
World's greatest cup of coffee. Congratulations.
Oh, well done, NFL. We ended race. But but yeah, no, he was drafted by Washington, spent what, 3-4 seasons in Washington?
3, I think.
Yeah. Then he came to Denver and was possibly, the best cornerback of all time while he was here. But there's a guy on the field right now who looks a lot like him, plays a lot like him. Pat Surtain the second, love it. Okay, this is the next subject I want to hit. We're at an hour and 15 minutes, so we'll start to roll it back here pretty quick. But and there's plenty of time. If you guys have topics you want to brought up and you drop them in the chat, we don't get to them today, we can definitely get to them in our next episode. But the one I want to talk about, because we haven't been able to hit on it yet, because even though last week we didn't go live on Tuesday, we went live on Thursday, so we've actually only had 5 days since our last episode.
Yeah.
But during the in-between, of course, was the Pro Bowl, and that meant the announcements of awards. And the NFL awards went on, and Pat Surtain II, PS2, was named the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. So well done, Pat Surtain. We all knew it, but now the whole world knows it.
Crazy that we are living in a year where a defensive back wins the Defensive Player of the Year. That never happens, as well as a defensive back winning the Heisman Trophy in the same year.
Wow.
In the same state. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Jay, I think that's cause for some celebration.
Oh yeah. Sure, we'll be copyrighted on that, but well worth it.
Oh, we'll be copyrighted on that one. I own the rights to that song. But no, I mean, it's huge that Surtain got that, and you're right. It rarely happens that a back gets that, achieves that award. Well deserved. Like I said, Broncos Country. We knew it. We've known it all along. But on top of that, have you heard the news about what PS2 wants to do?
Oh, dude, he wants to take it both ways, and I'm so in favor of it, although it will never happen. I know it will never happen.
Hey, it might. You never know. It could. It could happen.
If we didn't
I sound like the little black kid in Angels in the Outfield. It could happen.
It could happen. If we didn't, but typically what would happen on that conversion would be a gadget, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin type of person. We already have 2 of those.
True.
If we didn't have any of those, then I could maybe see him getting a look, but we've beaten that role dead, I feel like, on this offense. We have enough. We need something else.
Yeah. Well, okay, but I mean, could you see? Okay, one thing that Sean Payton loves to do in the past, when he's had the personnel to make it happen, is he loves to throw in a trick play that no one has seen at the perfect moment. And so, could you imagine if, during training camp, during practices, he was having PS2, he was designing a couple of plays where PS2 was suddenly on the field, where he checked in eligible as a receiver, and suddenly he's on the field, and teams are going, what the hell? What do we do? And then, and even if he didn't, even if he wasn't targeted, it could throw off the entire defense by just seeing him there on the field. We've seen Sean Payton do that in the past. Now, Sean Payton has never had a dual threat, wide receiver, defensive back, like Deion Sanders was, or who else am I thinking of?
Ron
Woodson. Thank you. Sean Payton has never had that at his disposal. But my football just fell. But if Pat Surtain could do that, I mean, Sean Payton could come up with some pretty dastardly little plays to use him in that capacity. Don't you think?
I think so. I mean, isn't it crazy that Travis Hunter is going to come into this league and inspire someone like PS2, who is the best defensive player in the league, to do something that he hasn't ever done before? What a crazy time we live in of just
It's wild
evolution. Man, I would love to see it, man. I'd love to see the trick play. I'd love to see it maybe once or twice in the year. But my God, I do not want to see a consistent package for him or something like that. Not like how Travis is going to have. Like, that's what
now
Travis
Michael
is there
Yost.
for.
Michael Yost coming in saying, hell yeah, PS2 might need to retire my Talib jersey and get a PS2 jersey. Well, first of all, if I recall, I might have bought you that Aqib Talib jersey. So don't you dare retire that jersey. Also, and even if I didn't buy it for you, you wore that jersey the entire season that I turned you into a Broncos fan, and 2, we witnessed the 2015 Super Bowl championship together while you were wearing that jersey. So don't you dare retire that jersey. But I would highly recommend going out and getting one of them new PS2 jerseys, because I have one and they are sexy. Let's see. Getting ready to roll out. We'll talk. I saw some stuff in the comments about the running back room. We've kind of hit the running back room to death in the past few weeks, so I feel like we can kind of push that off till next week. But let's see. We have Jack Kenna saying, as a Raider fan, saying Surtain is absolutely 100% a beast. The only player that played Brock Bowers well. Absolutely. It's what he does.
He really is like the only one that could shut down Brock Bowers the entire season.
He got a pick six against Brock Bowers.
What PS2 is capable of doing. I mean, I would say I've never seen anything like it, but I have. I mean, he is a reincarnation of Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey.
I was going to say we've seen Champ Bailey, so yeah, we have. But since Champ we haven't seen it since Champ retired.
Correct.
Out of anyone, any cornerback in the entire league since Champ Bailey retired. He is primo 100% generational talent.
Yeah.
Let's see. Don agreeing, you're not going to see him play both sides of the ball with the possibility of injuries. I mean, players have done it. If he makes his case strong enough, Sean Payton might just, like I said, maybe design a couple of plays for him.
Now that he's on his second contract and he's paid, it won't happen. The reason Travis Hunter will get it is because he'll be on a rookie contract and no one's going to have their whole, salary cap tied to him quite yet. On his second contract, he'll hone in on one position, but he'll get a nice runway of playing both.
I would love to see it, though. I just once, maybe even just one time, see PS2 take the field as an eligible receiver and everybody go, what?
I thought Champ do that. Champ did it a couple times.
I forgot to say that. Champ Bailey did it with the Broncos.
Times. Yep.
Alex Smith saying, we need another guy like Josh Reynolds. Yeah, veteran presence, maybe.
Shotgun Willie's has enough customers as it is. We don't need any more Josh Reynolds.
The thing about Josh Reynolds, the reason we cut him in the first place was because his skill set's already covered.
It is.
With the guys that we have. He's a veteran presence in the locker room, which was he was a veteran presence in the locker room, which was a good thing. But in terms of his skill set, we already got it covered.
He sucked at the things he was supposed to be brought in to be the skill set of, though. He was supposed to be a possessional wide receiver, and he had tons of drops. So ain't nobody got time for that in a vet. That's the whole point of why you're here, dude.
Yeah. Mike, saying we need him where he is. That dude earned that title for how he shut down the best, receivers in the league. Absolutely. Yep. Jack saying, Jay, he loves your old school Broncos hat. I think he means your helmet.
This guy.
Yeah. I have the last iteration right here. I have a smaller version of the Denver D. Although I did recently come across at an autograph shop near me a Elway signed throwback helmet that I have my eyes on. So that might end up being right here very soon. Let's see. Shai Vargas,
we got our pregame hype man in the building.
That's right.
Shai.
Hey, Shy. It's good to see you, my friend. He says, hey, we're glad to have you. You know, you're coming in at the 11th hour there, buddy, but it is still good to see you. Hope you enjoyed what of the show you were here for. Don says he just got himself a Mad Max jersey. So that would be, of course, be Max Crosby.
Better get it before he goes to jail.
Right. Well, hey, he's saying Mad Max, but I want to bring up something, Don, that I don't think we have talked about at any time that you've been in the chat. And that is the way that Bo Nix stared down Brock Bowers with crazy, or not Brock Bowers, but Max Crosby with crazy eyes when Crosby was talking mad smack to him in what was that? Our second meeting this season?
No, it was in the game you were at.
Oh yeah, it was. Still, like, I gotta give it to our rookie QB, man. Like, that takes balls.
I respect Max Crosby.
I do too. I mean, you got to respect his game. He's scary. But I also madly respect the fact that my rookie quarterback is willing to stare down one of the most terrifying guys in the league and look him in the eyes like, I'm not scared of you, dude. Like, that was pretty cool.
Oh, Jack Kenna's got a fact check for me. It's not Rod Woodson. It is Charles Woodson. I always get the Woodsons confused. Touche, sir.
Yeah, you're right. Heisman Trophy winner, Hall of Fame jacket. He did it. Didn't want him on offense at all. Yeah. Yost agreeing with what I just said, though. Bo is fearless.
Yep.
You know,
that he
is. There is so much. And you know, again, most of what we've talked about today is merely rumors. You know, nothing except for, you know, the passing of a legendary Bronco at the age of 80, and, you know, PS2 getting his Defensive Player of the Year award. Most everything we've discussed tonight is just rumors and hearsay or possibilities, which is fine. This is the offseason. That's what this time of the year is. Especially, you know, until after the Super Bowl is over and free agency actually opens up in March. So, I mean, you know, right now we're just having fun, you know, playing the what if game and the how could it game. All I know is I am very excited for the 2025 season.
Free agency starts on March 10th. So just a little bit more than a month. That's going to be here before you know it. And we'll get leakage of stuff probably in 3 weeks. So,
of course, Jay, we have
around the corner.
And of course we here at, you know, at Orange and Blue Network, and specifically on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast, we have our insiders. We have our people that I talk to on, at least myself, I talk to on almost a weekly basis about things happening in Dove Valley that are doing it. And so, you know, we have some of the inside scoops, which is fun. Last couple of comments here. Yeah, Jack Kenna agrees with us. Staring down Max Crosby, that did take balls. Max gets more sacks versus Denver than any AFC West team. Yeah. Although, for the most part, he was chasing Bo Nix this season. He was not very successful in taking down Bo Nix.
I was going to say, you shouldn't really gloat about getting sacks versus Russell Wilson for a couple of years, because everybody got sacks on Russell Wilson.
I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson got sacks on Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Might have inflated those numbers a wee bit.
just a little bit. But, you know, like I said, just I am excited for the 2025 season. Alex Smith coming in saying earlier in the season, it seemed to me Reynolds was a great addition in the passing game. Then he broke a finger against the Raiders, was held out, and got shot soon after. Yeah, I mean, honestly, my issue has nothing to do with the shooting or even his injury, man. It truly was. He had a few, just like I kind of said earlier with who did I say it about? One of our receivers.
Franklin?
Oh, Lil Jordan Humphrey. Just like Lil Jordan Humphrey, he had some flashy moments, some highlight reel moments. But he had, like the point that Jay made, he had a lot of drops too. And again, you know, the things that he was supposed to have come here to fix for us We already have those things covered now with even with the guys that we have like Devon Vele and Marvin Mims. So that's why he was let go. It wasn't necessary to hold on to him. Last couple here, Michael Yost. I'm calling it now. We have a deep playoff run next season. I'd be all here for it, buddy. All here for it. Jack Kenna saying, guys, before you go, I have a question. What's our thoughts on not playing Estime in the playoffs? Jay, you want to field that one first?
Yeah. He had fumbling troubles very early on in his rookie campaign. I don't think he really got the confidence of the coaching staff back after that. Estime got some run in a couple of games throughout the year, but honestly never got the traction that he really should have gotten. So I think going into a playoff game, as important as that was, and I think it was not because Bidet was ready to go and we were going to highlight Bidet and all that. Bidet got, I think, 2 carries. It was more of a Estime, we can't afford a fumble in this game, so we're going to sit you down because we have someone that's healthy that has not fumbled yet. It's just as simple as that. Yeah.
And so, and that's the thing. He's a rookie. Okay. And, again, literally to your point, Jay, given the early fumble issues, his confidence, I think, was shook a lot.
Yeah.
Not just his, the coach's confidence in him, but his own confidence was probably, was pretty shaken. And so I think given another offseason to practice and to work on some of his shortcomings going into next season, we've already said it. We're pretty sure, except for, maybe Estime, we're going to likely see a complete overhaul of that running back room.
Yeah.
And, so we'll see, we'll see, excuse me, hiccup. That was weird. We will see him get more chances next season.
I think we will. He'll get a clean slate going into next year. At least I would hope.
Yeah. I would hope so too. But
that early.
On that note, it is now an hour and a half into the show. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to bounce, guys. It's been a lot of fun tonight talking with you. I want to thank everybody who was in the chat tonight driving the conversation because, without you guys, we run out of things to talk about. It was absolutely great to have you here. And we cannot wait to continue to do it with you all off season long. Thank you for joining us here on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. And just as I said at the beginning of the show, if you have not already, or it's your first time here, please like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and check out the audio version of our podcast everywhere you listen to your faves. Hit that subscribe button. Punch that little thumbs up, ding the little notification bell so when we go live and you don't miss any of our awesome content, to include this show every Tuesday. Of course, we have Broncos Talk every Wednesday. Fridays is the entirely Spanish Viva los Broncos. And we are going to be adding even more awesome content this off season. And we will also be having our breaking, and that little notification bell comes in great handy when we have our breaking news quick pods of Fresh Squeeze and Orange and Blue Blitz. So these are all good content that we have, and you don't want to miss any of it. So please like, subscribe, share, comment on Orange and Blue Network. As always, have to show the love to our partner in crime, where we are simulcast over on MHRT Network. Please jump on over also and like, subscribe, share, and comment. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, even on Instagram. Guys, we thank you for your time tonight, for spending your evening with us. We love you, Broncos country. And you know what, Jay? I think it's time we resurrect a tradition of this show. My oldest son literally asked me today, why don't you guys do it anymore? And you know what? I'm gonna show my son that love. So it is time, guys, to end the show with the Mile High Five.
Can I give one shout out real quick? Go
ahead, give a shout out.
Happy birthday to my dad today, and happy birthday to my mom tomorrow.
That's right. I forgot all about that. I always forget your parents' birthdays.
Back to back.
I hate that. Yep, I always forget that, and I need to call them. Tell them I will call them tomorrow.
Absolutely.
All right, and with that said, here's my son. He wants to join in with us. So please, if everybody would get your hands out with me for a big Mile High Five. Yes.
There we go.
Mile high five, everybody, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. Mile high salute. Good night, everybody.
Orange and blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. No stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Catching up on all that we knew. Hit play, let the episodes accrue.